Thanks, John. It's every parent's worst nightmare, a child getting sexually abused. That nightmare came true twice for one mother, both with her daughter and disabled son. After two very different experiences fighting for justice in court, she realized more needed to be done to help disabled children in these situations. Now at 3, I'm learning about the nonprofit she created, turning pain into purpose.
That's the finished product.
Nicole Mooring and her daughter Macy work long hours looking at the computer together, working to grow their nonprofit. It's a project of passion, but it took heartbreak to get here.
My son, who has autism and Fragile X syndrome, was a victim of sexual abuse not once but twice. And my daughter, who's neurotypical, was a victim of abuse once.
In just one day, Mooring's life was turned upside down. She found herself fighting for justice for both children, quickly discovering one battle would be much more difficult than the other.
I really feel my son was discriminated against. I feel that they didn't know how to handle his case. You know, there was a lot of excuses as far as because there was a disability, you know, they don't know how to try those cases.
Mooring felt lost, struggling to find resources to help her son and support for herself. That's when she decided to start Voices of Change, vowing to help others going through the same situation.
Just started with an Instagram page with this idea just to start, you know, creating posts about, you know, ideas of, you know, how to reduce the risk for abuse.
The page still exists to this day, but has grown to a certified nonprofit, offering ways to reduce the risk of abuse for children with disabilities and provide resources if it's already happened. Some of the information includes signs of child abuse, communication tips, and avenues of support. While the project's grown immensely, it's taken its toll on Mooring and her daughter.
It's tough to know how these monsters out there are just taking advantage of such a vulnerable population.
A tiring struggle, but Mooring will continue to do everything she can to protect the vulnerable and arm others fighting similar battles.